hopefully you've been watching the videos and following along as we go. We're going to talk more about domain and range. And when you think about domain is typically your x values, and we look from left to right to find our domain. Range is typically your y values, so we look up and down to find from the lowest point to the highest point. So what I do when I see a graph, I don't always take out the highlighter and do it, but I get the length of the graph from farthest left to farthest right, and the height of the graph from the lowest to the highest, and then I look at what those values are. So my domain goes from -6 to 6, and my range goes from -4 to 5. When I write this out, if I have an open circle, then that means it doesn't include that point. If I have a smooth, solid line, or at an end point, a closed circle, that means it does include that point. And I show that in my domain and range with parentheses and brackets. Because the far left is open, I use a parenthesis, but because the far right is closed, I use a bracket or a brace or whatever you want to call it. For the range, the lowest point has that solid one, so that is a closed. Up on the top, it's not solid or colored, but it's not a hole, and so we assume that it includes it, so that would also be a bracket. So when I look at my next picture, you may need to pause and whatever, check this out. Pause if you need to, and then move on to the next one. When I look at my next picture, again, what I like to do is I go along the x-axis, and on the x-axis I'll eyeball it. This looks like it goes from -7 all the way over here to 8. That's the length of this. It starts at -7 and ends at 8 on the x-axis. That's the length of it. It's closed at -7 and opened at 8. Then I'll do the height. So I look down to the lowest point. It looks like that lowest point is -6 and up to 3. So I would say this goes from -6 to 3. It is not including -6, because at -6 right here I have an open circle, but it is including 3, because up here at 3, that height, I have a closed circle. So again, I'm just looking at, like, if I could pinch in the height or squeeze in the width is what I'm looking at for my domain and range. So one last one. I'm going to again take my yellow, so I'm going to eyeball this. On the x-axis, the width goes from -5 to 5. So I'll put that in as my domain from -5 to 5. It's a colored in circle at both, so it includes. And then the lowest point is down here at -3, -3 to 6. So I say -3 to 6 for the height, and it includes both ends of that as well. So you have 6 graphs that you need to look at and see if you can find the domain and range. Please, when you enter your answers, at least enter D when you put your domain in and R when you put your range in. If you have any questions, certainly send me an email and I can try to talk you through it. Otherwise, have a great day.